Well, no one's ready on my screen.
Good evening, Synergy PWR viewers across the world. Welcome to Synergy PWR People's World Racing, and we are here for the slightly delayed Spanish Grand Prix, round number 5 of this Division 2 race. And finally, we are through, without any issues. And just a quick note for the director. I don't know why, but everyone was readied up on my screen, and then suddenly they weren't. So I believe everyone is abiding by the 2-minute rule where everyone gets their gets their setups on and gets their tyre strategy sorted. In the commentary box with me tonight for this Grand Prix at the Barcelona Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is the Division 1 world champion, who I hope is back from his toilet break, Sphere Cookie.
Hay que donde está la biblioteca.
Fantastic. We have you joining us alongside us is, of course, the regular director in Silver Surfer. Good evening to yourself, sir.
Hello, chaps.
Yes, thank you very much for being with me here for tonight. 21:08 is the start time, and it has just elapsed that now, actually, so people will be ready to go. Of course, the Division 2 lot will have to remember the checklist that happens. If you got through to Q3, start on your Q2 tyre. Have you got your setup on? Have you got your strategy sorted? And if all is done, wait until the specified time, which, of course, has now elapsed. The drivers will be ready up at their disposal. But yeah, a little bit of a shake-up there. Looks like we've managed to diagnose the problem as an issue with the host. The host suddenly had a bit of a dip in internet. Looks like a bandwidth issue maybe, which caused everyone to lag across the track. So we've committed to a restart in order to make sure it was fair for all of the runners, because of course everyone was stuck behind the safety car as a result of that one. Sphere Cookie yourself, though, committing to a... Does that change the perception of the race, do you feel? When a restart happens and everyone has to stop and get going again, does that change the mood, the atmosphere of the race?
Yeah, it depends where you are. If you're in the top 10, makes it better for you, since, tyres. You get fresh set now. Whereas everyone else would have been able to have fresh tyres and you'd be kind of left out on that. Especially with some of the people doing 3 laps in Q2 on their mediums.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think one of those runners actually might have been HP Suppressor. I think he managed to get through to Q3, gets into the top 10. He ended up doing 3 laps on those mediums. So he's one of the few drivers who has to start on the medium tyres. Instead of say few, everyone actually, according to this, is actually on medium tyres. So obviously we see that everyone is on the medium tyres. A few people, everyone electing to start on medium tyres, apart from Mike David on softs, Paul Davey on hards, and KJS Leftover on softs. Everyone else, though, electing to start on medium tyres. And it is, just before we get going, one of those tracks where, tyre wear is a significant issue. Fingers crossed it won't be too much of an issue here tonight for a few of the runners, of course, because it is simulation damage, which, of course, means 75% and 70% actually or more could lead to those issues. Of potentially a puncture, which we saw for a few of the runners here at Synergy PWR at Bahrain, I believe it was actually. No, sorry, I think it was Australia in Division 1 actually, between SV Pagoo and BOR Dan. But yeah, they're going on to their reconnaissance lap now again to start this race here, and we'll go through the runnings again. It was Vickless who ended up getting pole position in the end, with PWR Shadow just behind, a little bit more than a tenth behind. SF1 Sean's follows in P3, crashed out on his fast lap in Q3, and as a result starts in P3 with a very, very, very fine performance from Mongdog starting in P4. Hopefully he can make something of that. With SF1 Tom in P5, Purple Haze in P6. JHP Suppressor decided not to go on the reconnaissance lap. He's in P7 with PWI Infamous in P8, Sufyan in P9 and Hamster in P10. TEO Vesper follows in P11 with George in P12 and Strategic Herpes in P13 with Mike David in 14th and Resolutionary in 15th place, also electing to not go on her reconnaissance lap. 16th, Ghosty Nebula also not going off as well, with Paul Davey in P17, Richie Evans in P18, and KJS Leftover, who didn't manage to get in for qualifying. He starts in the American runner starts in the American team in 19th place. 19 runners though in Division 2. That's going to be the makings for one hell of a race, isn't it? It certainly could be an interesting one for sure. Hopefully, Sphere Cookie. So hopefully, Sphere Cookie, hopefully you've got the box at the top of your screen to be able to for the party, so people can hear you.
Yep.
Smashing. Pedro Hamster just now connecting to the grid. I think he had a bit of an internet issue again. He will be under investigation shortly for his internet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he won't need to disconnect as a result. But the drivers are now lining up on the grid. And with all man on the grid, we're counting down the lights. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, and it's 5 lights. It's 5 lights, and they are a go, I believe. And we're away finally with Vickers away in P1 and Mongdog getting a cracking start. Actually, imagine to beat SF1 short off the line. There's a massive collision going down the straight, and Mongdog is out of the running. I think he was coming across there, maybe with the Red Bull, and he's just come across there, and a safety car straight out as a result of that one. And yeah, Mongdog straight away causing a safety car. I think he came across Sean's and straight into turn number 1. Just before we got to turn 1, there's already a DNF. What happened
Sean's
there?
with no front wing whatsoever as well. And Sufjan as well with a penalty. What happened there?
I'm unsure about what you felt with that one there, Cookit.
I don't know, I'm lost for words, to be honest. Someone crashed during the safety car as well.
And the Hamster is also losing buckets of time as well, and I don't know if his internet connection issues are still a significant problem. Infamous is also disconnected as well, so hopefully he'll be able to reconnect very shortly. Safety car is out, so drivers now able to come into the pits and change the tyres if they wish to do so, and Hamster's now actually disconnected as well, so a few people are really struggling with internet connections here. Ignoring yellow flags for PWR Infamous's AI? That's really odd.
Yeah,
so,
I
yeah,
think
he's got... Yeah, that's very odd. So Hamster's also out as well. Sufjan and Resolutionary electing to come into the pits. HP Suppressor also out of the running. So no doubt Sean's going to be coming in for a new front wing here. He still has an opportunity, though, to potentially do a very, very good two-stop. Because remember, we're on under safety car conditions here. But he's he's stuck actually behind his teammate of Resolutionary, but it's not really going to make a difference, is it, under the safety car here. But as it stands at the moment, under the safety car on lap number 2 of this Division 2 race, Vickers in P1, Shadow in P2, and Purple Haze up to P3, up 3 positions. SF1 Tom in P4, Strategic Herpes up to 8 positions in P5. And Mike David, as you just said there, yeah, he's up 8 positions as well. This is the second time now we've saw Mike David do really well from the back of the grid. He did it at Baku and he's done it here. P6 for him at the moment, with Infamous in P7 and Hamster in P8, but both of those cars are AI. TEO Vesper in P9 and up 9 positions from the back of the grid. KGS Leftover up to P10, up 5 positions Ghostly Nebula. George stays where he is in P12, 5 positions gains for Richie in P13, 3 for Paul Davey, and obviously Resolutionary, Sufjan and SF1 Sean's now coming out of the pits. Resolutionary on mediums, Sufjan on mediums, and Sean's on another set of mediums as well. And they're obviously now going to make their way around the track to join the back of the safety car queue, and I suspect the safety car is going to be coming in around about the end of lap 3, so there's plenty of time for them to connect here. But yeah, it's really turned the whole race on its head here, because Mongdog was on his way to a very good start, and I just don't know what happened. I mean, now you've had a bit of time to process it. Can you perhaps analyse what happened there, do you think?
I didn't quite catch what was happening. I was too focused on looking at one of the Georgie queuing on the grass, I think, after maybe being forced onto the grass, trying to just evade, instead of being like lap or the very start.
Yeah, certainly very interesting what happened there.
Yeah, and then I caught Mongdog in the wall out the corner of my eye.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't know if the race director, Silver Surfer, whether you have any words yourself, if you managed to catch anything that happened with Mongdog. It seemed to me like looked like the McLaren had come across the Red Bull. I don't know what your point is.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me, James. It looked like he was kind of veering left as if to maybe defend, but didn't account for the Red Bull there and cut across the front of him and spun himself off and has retired as a result, unfortunately.
Yeah, indeed, very intriguing stuff. We're still under the safety car conditions at the moment. Of course, all the other drivers at the back now trying to get themselves across and to the back of the safety car queue after this restart. I mean, Wowzers, we've had to commit to a restart due to internet connectivity issues. We've gone straight into a battle, and look what's happened there. We're now behind the safety car again, heading through into the now in the middle part of the third lap, with Vickers still obviously in the lead. It's going to be interesting to see how Sean's is going to battle through. He is definitely committing to a two-stop because he's now on another set of medium tyres. Obviously, medium tyres not going to be able to go to the end under these circumstances, but he is committing to a two-stop. You know, with the safety car now in this lap very quickly, Cookie, where do you expect to be aiming for now? Do you still think he's going to go for the win, or do you think he's going to have to change the nature of his race?
Personally, I think he's going to try and battle with his team. Oh, Duffian losing his front wing. I think either that or it was Resolutionary on the back of Paul Davey.
Not sure what happened there, taking a look here, and I do see no front wing damage at all actually for either of those drivers, but yeah, could be a little bit of a change here for SF1.
No,
We'll have to see.
Rich.
All right, we'll have to see, but Vickers has now got toe of the car. Is he going to go? And he's away straight away. I think he's not managed to catch PWR Shadow napping, but he has caught his teammate Purple Haze napping here, because SF1 Sean's is looking like he's going to be... SF1 Tom, sorry, is looking very, very spicy here to go for it here. As Richie Evans has come into the pit, surprisingly enough, at the end of that safety car period. Very unusual, but Vickers remains in the lead with Shadow in P2, Purple Haze in P3. Mike David now up to P5 after managing to get past Strategic Herpes in the racing point. PWR Infamous and Hamster's AI currently still racing at the moment, P7 and 8 for them on, I believe, 90 AI at the moment. It's T.O. Vesper in P9 and KJS Leftover in P10. Remember, of course, if Infamous and Hamster don't manage to complete a significant amount of this race, then they will be disqualified from their position. So currently, as it stands, you'd suspect T.O. Vesper is up to P7 with KJS Leftover in P8. Down the rest of the field at the moment, though, Sean's now up to P14 after getting past Sufyan, Paul Davey at P16, and you have Resolutionary, though, in front of SF1 Sean's. Now, this is a very peculiar circumstance because, of course, Resolutionary currently out racing 2-0 at the moment and is currently now, as it stands, 3-0. You reckon that's going to, potentially influence how Sean is going to approach this race? You reckon it's going to be, I'm beating you this race no matter what, or do you think she's going to
battle with his team?
You reckon he's going to want a battle?
Definitely. I mean, after seeing what he was posting,
George going wide
earlier.
Yeah, George going a little bit wide through there might have let Resolutionary in here for the kill. We'll have to see, but Hamster has now managed to reconnect. Fingers crossed we'll be able to get racing again, and we're going green with Vickers 1 minute 22.0 for the Mercedes. Sean Purple Haze, I'll get there in the end. PWR Shadow not really managing anything at the moment, actually managing ERS down to ERS 1 with 82%, as Vickers is actually beginning to push a little bit, you suspect. Purple Haze now gaining a bit of time here as Hamster and Infamous reconnecting into the session at the moment, but Vesper managing to get past, so he's now up to P7. KJS left open the next to connect past those AI. But as it stands at the moment, we've certainly got an interesting battle happening here as Resolutionary is trying to get past George in the Williams for P13 and P12 at the moment. They're going very wide, actually, through there. And I think a little bit of a nudge for George. And I think as a result, may have actually got a little bit of damage. HB Suppressor rejoining into the session, even though he's out. George in P14 now with Sufyan on fresh tyres, actually, as well, able to get now in the next car to get past that Williams as it stands at the moment. Positions changed, though, looking very interesting all across the field at the moment as Infamous has now managed to reconnect. And around the inside, the Resolutionary past Nebula, having to go on the grass to get past. What a move from the Red Bull. A little bit spicy going through and heading through into turn number 10 through 11. Very good move from the Red Bull.
One thing that I noticed as well, just before the safety car restart happened, Sean's did overtake Sufyan before the safety car went in. So I'm not sure what happened there, or if I'm just seeing things. But
I'm sure we'll have to see. I didn't see any penalty come up for Sean for ignoring yellow flags or ignoring the safety car period. So
side by side with Ghosty.
And going side by side, actually, is the Alfa Romeo with the Red Bull. Would the Red Bull be able to get past? We'll have to see. He does break a little bit earlier, does Ghostly Nebula, perhaps for a little switch back getting through 1 and 2, but he hasn't got the traction on the slightly older tyres, and Sean's gets past, and now his next person to take over is his teammate Resolutionary. Hamster now back in the session, thankfully, and trying to, there's a little bit of a collision, actually, between Vesper and Herpes. Hopefully that's not going to cause any punctures here, and I think Vesper has lost an end plate as a result of a collision for P6 with Strategic Herpes. That's going to bring Hamster into the mix.
Infamous going pretty wide as well.
See Infamous going really wide through there as well. So there's actually quite there's a big battle happening for P6 at the moment, actually. Really, really spicy stuff. And I think we're going to have Amster potentially not looking for a move, surely, on Tio Vesper into turn 10 here. So it's staying as it is at the moment in that battle. Worth noting, though, currently as it stands, all of the top 10 are on medium tyres, except Mike David, who's on softs, and the Resolutionary is on medium tyres, but is the only one in the top 10 who's actually on tyres that she didn't start on. So at this moment in time, it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment on how we can sort of approach it.
Front wing there.
KGS Leftover might have lost a bit of his front wing, but as it stands at the moment, he's trying to hold off for P11 at the moment, and SF1 Sean's going around the outside to try and hold on to one, and you suspect that the move is going to be complete quite well here. You don't think that KGS is going to hold on to the position here, and he doesn't, and he's going to go through turn 1 unsatisfied here because he's down to P12. Resolutionary, though, trying to get past PWR Infamous in the Renault at the moment as the battle for P7 is spicing up with Amster trying to get past Vespa, and they go very wide. Looks like going very wide, heading through turn number 4, and that's going to bring Infamous potentially into the frame here as he tries to go up a dive up the inside, does Infamous, and it might have been a good move there, but I think you suspect they're going to go too wide here as Vespa's very wide, coming out of 5 and into 6, and he's going wide again as the Toro Rosso, and I think that's because of the major front wing damage that's happened, and Resolution out to P9, and they're going to go side by side potentially here at the DRS straight, hopefully not 3 wide, surely into turn 10. Oh my goodness me, it might be 3 wide going here. No way, Sean's going to make a double move into turn 10, and what a move from Sean's.
That was a great move.
3 wide into turn 10 and a double overtake from the Red Bull, and he gets in front of his teammate Resolutionary in doing so. What a bit of racing.
Though, whereas everyone else behind him will.
Exactly, and one person that will have DRS, unfortunately for Sean's, is Hamster, because at this moment in time, Hamster is in a position where he's going to have DRS on Strategic Herpes, which means Sean's is going to end up losing time on Hamster for P6, because Strategic Herpes is now down to P7 as a result of that battle, and then Resolutionary has made a move on Sean's, and Resolutionary is now back in front of Sean's. What a bit of racing this is turning out to be.
I'm just hoping it doesn't end out like the Red Bulls in 2018 for Baku.
We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. It is really good racing, and amazing racing happening now at the front, because PWR Shadow is now within DRS territory of Vicolas for P1, and the Mercedes losing buckets of time at the moment. And the worst thing about it as well is Vicolas is pushing and has no ERS available. He's got like 30%, and he's in ERS 5. We've got PWR Shadow 84%, ERS 0, and he's gaining all time on Vicolas here. So he's not pushing. He's not pushing on his engine, he's not pushing on his electrics, and as a result, he's not pushing on his tyres. So surely, long game here, Shadow's in the better position, isn't he?
Definitely. I feel like he's definitely been able to save a lot of ERS because of the 2 straights. So he may not have been particularly in a high ERS mode.
You know who I feel really sorry for? You know who I feel really sorry for at the moment, I've just realised, is Sean here, because Sean is now about to get DRS on Resolutionary, but Resolutionary is going to get DRS on Strategic Herpes, so Sean's making the double overtake at possibly the worst time possible, because he had no way to be able to defend it, and Mongdog has now left the session as Mike David is now come into the pits. It's medium tyres for him. I feel really sorry for Sean's here, because he was on his way, and then just that one, it's just one corner, isn't it? Just that one corner, and it's Jim all of those positions, and no fault of his own. It's just the way of the racing at the moment. But it was a really good move, and in fact he's had a really good turn 3 here. He's surely not going to go for the dive into 4, but he is late braking compared to his teammate, as Resolutionary is trying to get past Strategic Herpes at the moment. No way she's going to be able to go for the dive here just yet, so she's going to be heading through turn 5 and into turn 6. With George and Ghostly Nebula having a bit of a scrap themselves at the moment in the Alpha and the Williams. Heading through 7 and into the small right kink of 8. Sean's going a little bit wide going through 8 there as well, so he's going to have a bit of dirt on his tyres going through 9. So he's going to lose a bit of time there, but he's going to get it all back through DRS. But Herpes has not got DRS, and as a result, Resolutionary could go for a dive up to turn 10, and he has done so. And Sean's is looking like he wants to get past as well. And Vicolas losing the rear end as well, and there may be an overtake going through into turn 1 for the battle here, and it's a 2-way battle happening with the Red Bulls. They're up to 6 and 7, and a battle for the lead now happening as Shadow is overtaking Vicolas, and Vicolas has certainly been feeling the pressure, because that racing point is into now the lead of this race. He's gone a little bit wide into 1 and to 2. He's going to lose the rear end just a smidge as he gets up on the curbs into 3, but it's very well executed from Vicolas to try and hold up here. He's going to keep on the toe here, but you've got to remember Shadow here is got plenty of ERS and presumably lots of fuel as well, because he's just easing his car all the way through the circuit. And I must say, it's really, really good stuff and good racing at the moment from Shadow. He's thinking about the long game, and I think he's learned from that mistake at China, hasn't he?
Definitely. As well, the two Alfa Romeos are fighting as well.
Yeah, two Alfa Romeo teammates now fighting as well. We've got a couple of teammate battles happening, actually. We've got the two Alphas battling. We've got two Red Bulls battling again. Revolutionary back in front of Sean's, as after that great overtake from Sean's has been completely dismantled just simply because of the position he was on track. He was in a great position, but because he was behind a battle that was happening in front of him by more than a second, and they had DRS, everything just fell apart around him, and there's no way he's going to be able to make a move into turn 10 here just yet. So far, really good racing, and we've got excellent racing happening as well. If Vickers keeps losing time here, Purple Haze could end up getting in a battle, so we could end up with a three teammate battle way here. So we could end up with the two Alphas, the two Red Bulls, and the two Mercedes battling with each other at the moment. Hamster will be out racing his teammate for the third time this season.
Passes maybe later on.
For the fifth time this season, rather, so he'll be relatively happy with P5 at the moment, but currently he's getting swallowed up here as Vickers has lost a position to Shadow. I think for some reason he disappeared and went behind P3 for a second then. That was a bit odd, but Sean's now looking to try and close down the gap on Revolutionary, but Revolutionary is getting DRS off Hamster at the moment, so Hamster's going very wide, and he's going to go up on the inside of turn 3, and that's very excellent racing there from Revolutionary, but Sean's may end up being able to get up and gobble up here on PWL Hamster. He wants to get past Hamster as quick as he can, actually, and I think he's duped him a little bit going through 4 and made him go out a little bit wide here, so he's going to hold up on the inside, but Hamster will have the inside of turn 5, so he's going to be in a defensive position here, will the McLaren, but he isn't able to get the power down fast enough, and Sean's has managed to get past, which means that he will have DRS on Revolutionary rather than Hamster, but Hamster's going to have DRS as well, so whether Hamster might be able to get past Sean's or not is another matter. We'll have to see. But the gap now is half a second between P1 and P2, so that's something we're going to keep an eye out on as well. And we've got a potential battling happening for P12 as well at the back, and P10. Sector 1 yellow flags have been waved, and that is for Theo Vespa, who's just come out of the pits on those hard tyres. So he's now spun out, and he's now at the back of the grid as Shadow gets past his lap, which is then overtaken by Vickers, and now he's starting to push. It's Vickers. He surely can't make a move heading into turn 1. He's too far back, it's Vickers, surely, but he's going to go around the outside, but very well defended from the...
It's a great battle. Heading
another battle. P5 as well here, because Sean's is looking to try and get past his teammate Revolutionary. He tries to hold on to the inside line as much as she can, and she can't, and there we go. So P5-6 swapped for the Red Bulls, as P13 has been taken by Paul Davey on George in the Williams. We have a battle potentially brewing happening in P2 at the moment, but make note at the moment, Shadow not really pushing, up to 68, 9 and 70% ERS for Vickers, down the order on 30. DRS open for the Mercedes. You don't suspect he's going to make a move here just yet. He's going to hold off here and try and get the main DRS on that main straight. But the battle's still brewing at the moment, and actually fair play to the McLaren. He's staying in the DRS territory actually of Revolutionary at the moment, and he's going to get DRS, but he's got very bad understeer going through 9. I'm not sure if he's got wing damage actually, has the McLaren, but he's certainly looking a little bit
light green.
Yeah, he's looking a bit understeery going through 9, so fingers crossed that's not going to affect his racing. Sean making a mistake going through 12, which is where he crashed out at the end of Q3 going for pole position, and as a result Revolutionary is now right up his trumpet. Vickers and Vickers going around the outside of 1. Will Shadow hold on? We'll have to see. He's going to have at the inside of 2 is Vickers, and therefore they're going to go potentially rear to rear heading through 3. And you suspect this battle is not over just yet. That's why I'm not confirming Vickers is definitely in P1. And Vickers is going to go a little bit out and wash out wide through 4 into 5. And he's going to have the outside line is Shadow. He's going to try and go around the outside, maybe a switch back onto the inside of 6. But Vickers, you suspect, now has got that position heading through onto DRS straight. So we now have Vickers back in the lead of this race. And he needs it as well. He DNF'd out of Azerbaijan after making making treacherous mistakes, which led to the Mercedes runner being out of the race, and as a result ends up losing ground to PWR Shadow in the standings. But at the moment it's really, really close stuff here. Another battle brewing at the moment, again like a P6 with Revolutionary now trying to get past Sean's. You suspect she's not going to go for the move again heading into turn 10.
No, probably not.
but she is really close. But the one person that is really close as well is PWR Hamster. He's still on the rear of those Red Bulls, so fair play to them at the moment. Shadow now back on the rear end again of Vicklas, and you suspect with plenty of ERS available and Vicklas not having that much ERS available, with the DRS, Shadow is going to be able to get past. He tries to go up on the inside. Shadow is going to have the outside of one. We'll have to see what happens, but he goes around the outside of one, very late break-in. Is he going to have the inside of two? And he does so, and the move is then completed. So we're now back into racing scenario with Shadow now back in the lead as well. Sean and Resolutionary now might be swapping again, as now Resolutionary now retakes Sean for P5. This is really good stuff here, because of course, if Resolutionary beats Sean, it's 3-0 in the Red Bull battles, whereas Sean would be 2-1. And Mike now in the pits again, so I think that's for a new front wing. And Mike actually was showing some real pace around here, and then he made a mistake in Q1, started P14, and now he's having to pit again. Is it a front wing change?
I'm not sure about it, but judging how both Mike and Safian came into the pits at the same time, they might have came together, unless Safian's just coming in because 12-lap-old mediums.
Well, 12-lap-old mediums
got a wing change as well.
For Safian. Wing change as well, so there may have been a little bit of a... cars, and I'm sure that the stewards will take a look at it if indeed there is a clip for it later on down the line. Resolutionary still in front of SF1 Sean's at the moment. DRS open for Sean, so there may be another swap happening again between these two drivers, and another two, and then hello, we've got Vicklas and Shadow now into the pits. So now they're both matching each other on strategy here. Will they both go onto the same tyres? We'll have to see. But it means Purple Haze will take the lead of this race with SF1 Tom coming into the pits. And that means both Red Bulls will be taking the step here. And yeah, you can see there, they're both not pitting. So Resolutionary now up to P2 as Sean's in P3. But Shadow is out on a set of hards, as is Vickler. So they are now matching to the end of this race, as Hamster is going to get past them both. That isn't going to help the scenario, I don't think. And will Infamous actually get in front? I don't think he will. So they are now down to P5 and 6. But SF1 Sean's and Resolutionary still battling with each other here. And SF1 Sean's did manage to get past Resolutionary on the straight. So he's now back up to P2 as it stands. But a 12-second gap between him and Purple Haze. Purple Haze yet to pit, of course. Pitting as well for George, as George gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Of course, the pit lane assists are turned off in Synergy PWR. But yeah, very, very good stuff. The question is, will Hamster give the position up to Shadow? You suspect he probably will. What do you think?
I think it'll be in his best interest. He can also use them for a DRS and slipstream if he goes.
You can see right there. He's staying out. He's got out of that battle. He didn't want to get involved with it, and Hamster just clings onto the back of Vicklas, because of course it'll help his race actually if he can stay on the back of Vicklas, because of course he'll get the toe and he'll get DRS as well, which means he can stay in front of the other car on 14-lap all mediums in PWI Infamous, and of course 5 seconds back in Strategic Herpes as well.
Sean's
so yeah,
very
good stuff. Sean's electing to go into the pits first, and I believe that is just between the two of them there, making sure that they stick with strategy. Of course they don't want to get confused here, and hard tyre for Purple Haze to the end of this race. She's now down to P6 and might be P7 as it stands. In fact, no, sorry, she won't, because Sean's, of course, is still in the pits, and Herpes actually in the pits as well, which means SF1 Tom, will actually get promoted up and will not get in front of Purple Haze. He's miles back, actually. 5 or 6 seconds back, actually, is the Mercedes. PWR Infamous, though, starting to get up onto the rear end of PWR Hamster here for P4 at the moment. These are on old mediums at the moment, 15 laps old each. So they're not going to be particularly racy at the moment. Probably faster than the hard tyres, though. So they're in a very interesting position here, you'd suspect.
I don't think they'd be faster than the hard tyres at this point, personally. I feel like they would have died out by now. With Hamster going pretty wide and touching the gravel.
Just about to say that, yeah, Hamster going very wide out of 9. Thankfully keeps it in a straight line, though. Heading through 10, and Infamous still very, very much up the trumpet of that McLaren. And again, we've seen a lot of people here sticking with this same strategy of medium hard, although we've got a few people on 2 stops. Mike David now on 2 stop as well, because he went for another set of went for a medium tyre, but a suggested collision maybe has put him in the position on a hard tyre. Hamster in the pits, Infamous staying out, interestingly enough, so he feels comfortable. Resolutionary also now in the pits as well, so she's going to go on to I suspect a hard tyre, which is what she's done, and she's straight out again. Question is, will she get out in front of SF1 Sean's? And this will determine whether the hard or the medium tyre will be faster. I think the undercut probably will end up happening for Sean's. We'll have to see. But Resolutionary just leaving the pits now. It's going to be very close, actually, as they go very well. As you can see, the medium and the hard tyre at this point are actually very, very close. But Sean's has just managed to get in front of Resolutionary. It's basically as it was as soon as he went into the pits. So you'd suspect now the medium tyre is just as fast as the hard at this moment in time, isn't it?
Apparently. Also, Resolutionary's got fresher tyres, so she'll be like a 10th or a 100th, maybe.
Oh, Vicolas is out! Vicolas has crashed out at 9! Vicolas has crashed out at 9! It's another DNF, and the safety car is out again. So everyone is going to be bunched up here. That's going to be absolutely annoying for Resolutionary, because she's just come out of the pits on those hard tyres. Vicolas has crashed out at 9. And he's spun the car, and his car was right in the middle of the track, and absolutely rightfully so, the safety car is out, and he's sped under the safety car, Mike David, so he's going to have to serve a drive-through penalty on top of that as well, and that's really, really unfortunate stuff. And right there, we are now back under safety car conditions. I mean, this is really, really good stuff for PWR Infamous, isn't it?
I wonder if Sean's will pit again for mediums, because I feel like the mediums could definitely make it to the end.
Mediums could definitely make it. Remember, you're going to be under the pit. You're going to be under a scenario here where the pit stops are going to be significantly less time, and you're also going to be behind the safety car for a good 3 laps as well. So, medium tyre is certainly a tyre potentially of choice here. The Mercedes, though, right in the middle of the track. So he's definitely, Vicolas definitely is going to be in a position here to be a bit sort of upset, I think, because it's a very common mistake at turn 9. But his car right in the middle of the track, rightfully, is a safety car, I feel. And PWR Infamous on the hard tyre, as Richie Evans has been disqualified from this race for ignoring yellow flags. Of my screen, disqualification has just appeared. I'm not sure if you've seen that. It hasn't
appeared for me.
That's very unusual. So I've just heard disqualification has just appeared on my screen, but perhaps that's, again, another glitch. The safety car out again. No, wrong. Safety car out again. That's brung Purple Haze. Look at this, though, now. Purple Haze now up to P2. SF1 Tom P3. Sean's P4. Resolutionary P5. Infamous P6. Hamster P7. Herpes P8. KGS Leftover from P19 is up to 9th. And Mike David, despite the fact that he's now had to do a second pit stop, is up to P10 and under safety car, could be in a good position here. Surely this is the last-ditch opportunity now for the drivers to consider potentially a pit stop and change onto a medium tyre.
I feel like Sean or Resolutionary may
consider it.
Yeah, depending on if Sean's goes in. Obviously.
But you've got to think as well, because the situation is that there's a few drivers who are still on at the back of the grid yet, so they're not going to go all the way down to P14 here. They're going to go relatively well to P10, P11 maybe, so you're certainly in a position here.
As well, he should definitely consider a pit stop. I
think a few people have got the consideration here to really consider here, especially considering you've got the likes of KGS Leftover on 8 old medium tyres here, and he's staying out. Mike David's staying out as well, as is Ghostly Nebula and George, I believe. So in fact, no, George is going in, so you're doing as you suggested here. George has come straight into the pits. He's going to go probably onto a set of medium tyres to the end of this race now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one develops and whether George is going to be able to get into the pits and get out as fast as he can. Strategic Herpes gets a 5-second penalty for crashing into the back of Hamster, by the looks of things.
Yeah, he's lost the left end plate as well.
So Herpes is certainly going to be in a bit of spot of bother here, because with that 5-second penalty on top of wing damage, you suspect he's going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, and I feel the safety car might be in at the end of this lap as well, which is not going to be good for the likes of George, who's just leaving the pits now, and Richie Evans is just about to overcut him here as he comes out to the pits here. No, he's just managed to get in front of Richie Evans. So George now on medium tyres to the end of this race. Question is, will he get to the back of the safety car line in time? If the safety car comes in this lap, you suspect no.
I don't think it is. I feel like...
You think the safety car's got another lap?
Oh, someone's spun.
Someone has spun. It's Ghostly Nebula. He's spun under the safety car. I think Ericsson hit him, but it looks like he's just managed to get through. And there's actually, I just want to say as well, I think there's an end plate missing for another driver as well, actually, because there's an end plate stood up in the middle of the track, and I don't know who it's for.
No, yeah, Hamster, maybe.
It might be.
Yeah, he's lost his
I think,
whole right wing almost.
yeah, he has lost his entire end plate there, so surely he's going to be coming
He's
into
in
the pits. And he is into the pits, so it's going to be medium tyres to the end and a safety under the safety car. So it's a good opportunity for Hamster. It could have been worse, let's be honest. Purple Haze in P2, SF1 Tom just managed to overtake Purple Haze, but has rescinded back to P3 with Sean's in P4 and Resolutionary in P5. We are back under safety car conditions again for the second time in this race after a crash for Vicolas. And as it stands at the moment, I'm taking a look at the tables, and you suspect Vicolas is going to be taking some heavy damage as a result of this DNF.
Yeah, after the DNF in Baku, he's going to definitely lose out to Shadow.
Well, we're going to take a look at the table, and I've got the table up as it stands at the moment. And Division 2, and Vicolas is currently on 50 points, 2 wins, 2 DNFs, a third DNF now. HB Suppressor is on 43. He's currently in P6 to match Vicolas, which will keep him in P3. 8 points if he wants to overtake Vicolas. As it stands, he's got 8 points.
It's going to be interesting, I think, especially next week, to see how Vicolas will respond.
Just want to correct myself, actually. Sorry, HP Suppressor actually crashed out. I've got him confused with his teammate, PWR Infamous. Yeah, he DNF'd, did HB Suppressor. So actually, he's holding on here. So it's going to be really a matter of Sean's and Hamster, because Sean and Hamster both could actually gain some big points here today. But unfortunately, Hamster did end up. Oh my God, Strategic Up is now with 10 seconds worth of penalties here for exceeding those track limits.
Oh,
but yes, Sean's is certainly going to be in a good position here, and he's lost his wing entirely. Maybe has, in fact, yeah, he's lost an entire right side, and I think he's actually recording it as well, perhaps in an incident with Infamous. But we're going to be under the safety car conditions here. We're going to see here whether Shadow goes for it or not, and he's gone straight away. In fact, he's lost it. He's lost it coming through the final corner, which is certainly going to put him on the back foot. We go green again here at Spain, and Purple Haze is going to have a right run here going into turn number 1 after Shadow made a mistake getting up off on the curbs, as Sean's is looking like he wants to try and get past maybe the two of them. Under these older hards though, and Resolutionary no, and Shadow just manages to hold on to P1 rather. He lost it going into T16, and he's got very wide as Sean's. He's going to put himself into the wall. He's just managed to keep himself out of the walls here, and Infamous maybe tried to get round him here, and I think Resolutionary ended up breaking as a result of that one. Sean's has got no grip at all on those hard tyres, and Infamous is up to P4, and Mike David is going to go over here, and I think it's just been nudged maybe by Resolutionary, I think, and Mike David will not be particularly happy with that one. I think Resolutionary gave him a bit of a nudge as KGS left over up to P7 now as a result of that. What a race! What a race from KGS left over there so far though. P19 to P7, 12 positions gaining. It could be up to P6 here, because I think she's got front wing damage Resolutionary after crashing into Mike David going into turn number 5, going around the outside maybe. She's outbroke herself, and a switch back for KGS left over. He's up 13 positions as the American runner. What a race from him so far.
Yeah, Resolutionary's got orange wing damage at least.
Resolutionary dived up the inside of turn 5 and I think nudged Mike David off course, and it only harmed herself, and as a result on 4 lap old hards she's in the pit surely to change her front wing. But PWR Shadow now gaining time on Purple Haze here. SF1 Tom within DRS, obviously no DRS as it stands at the moment. Also Mike David also in the pits for his third pit stop of the race here. He's down to P12, P13 and all the way to the back of this grid here, I feel, and we're going to have the rest of the field here. And look at this, Paul Davey up to P8, George P9 and Vesper in P10. Paul Davey could be on for some good points here. In fact, he's on a bit of a point streak, 1-4-1, but he did get any at Azerbaijan, so he could be on for some good points here today, is the Toro Rosso runner. And Hamster, under the safety car, having that major front wing damage, now up to P7.
Very lucky. I didn't notice that. He's bounced back very quickly.
He has bounced back, hasn't he, as Hamster? Good work from him. Sean's up to P5, trying to get past Infamous, who's gone very, very wide out of turn 9, I believe. Heading through into turn 9, sorry, he went wide through turn 8. No DRS, but a load of understeer as a result of the dirty air. and Sean's is going to want to get past Infamous as fast as he can here, you'd suspect, but Infamous well within his right to hold on to that position is the Renault. He's doing a really good job holding on to this position as it stands at the moment. I think Vicolas will be relatively happy to see that HB Suppressor has crashed out though, so then he will at least be holding on to what seems to be a promotion spot, but as it stands at the moment, he's going to be losing all of those points to PWR Shadow. Vicolas needs to get his A game on here because he's got probably the most indecisive record of consistency. It's either a win or a DNF for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's 2 for 2 now, isn't he?
It's 2 for 3, I believe. He's got his third this season now. Resolutionary now with a 3-second time penalty. I think she's trying to be as fast as she can here at the moment. SF1 Sean still on the back at the moment of PWR Infamous. Bear in mind though, hard tyres now for everyone in the top 5. KJS Leftover is on 13-lap all medium, so you suspect he has to pit here. And then you've got Hamster, who's on fresh medium tyres, as is Paul Davey, Antonio Vespa, and George. So you suspect here that Hamster surely is going to be closing down the gap on Sean's, Infamous, and Tom. And he could be on his way to a podium as it stands here. If he's significantly faster, I wouldn't say it was potentially a win. I think he's a bit too far back off Shadow here. He's going to get past KJS Leftover on the old medium here. And in fact, no, he's electing not to make the overtake at turn 10. But Hamster is surely going to be one to watch here in that McLaren because he's going to be on the faster tyre throughout this race as KJS Leftover losing the rear end.
Going over the bump,
I
think.
Losing the rear end under these old medium tyres, I think, at the moment. And Sean's is getting really close. Oh, mounting the curbs high at the moment is SF1 Sean's, as Hamster
Leftover
has just managed to get past KJS Leftover because he's made a mistake. DRS
I
open
think he
now
just let him through, to be honest.
for SF1 Sean's here, and SF1 Sean's is trying to get past Infamous. No way he's going to go for a dive up at turn 1. He's too far back, but he's certainly going to be up close here and personal with that Renault, and surely could force the Renault into a mistake here.
Yeah, very similar on tyres. I mean, Sean's only 2 laps older, but with the hard tyres, I don't think that'll make too much of a difference. So
Resolutionary taking fastest lap of the race, so she won't take the extra point as it stands because she's down in P14. 16 runners left in this Division 2 race in PWR People's World Racing. SF1 Sean's still trying to battle at the moment with PWR Infamous, but one person who's trying to battle for more than just P3 at the moment is actually SF1 Tom. We've not really mentioned him quite a lot in this race. He's not been racing a lot here at Synergy PWR. A couple of the reasons for not racing at Synergy PWR was because he quote-unquote forgot that he was racing here. Managed to get himself up to P3 and into P2 as he loses the rear end, actually going through turns number 14, 15 and then into 16. And SF1 Tom really up close and personal with Hayes.
Down this back straight.
Yeah, she's losing buckets of time to Shadow at the moment, but she's on for a good P2 as it stands at the moment. Will she lose P2 though to SF1 Tom going into turn number 1? We'll have to see. One person that could be losing his position though is PWR Infamous, because he might be now he's holding on to the middle ground, and that's very, very excellently placed actually from PWR Infamous, holding right in the middle of the track, and he's making his Renault the widest car possible. He lost it going through turn 2 into turn 3 though. And I think that was some excellent defending for PWR Infamous. He made his car as wide as possible, but is he going to lose a position here heading into 4? A little bit of a tap there between Sean's and Infamous as well, actually heading through there, and he's going to head up into turn 5 on the inside, Will Infamous, and he could possibly hold on to the position here if he's good enough here, but no, I think Sean's just excellently defended the position, and holding on to P4 is the Renault. Sufyan has also now retired as well. I think he's crashed out of turn number 2 heading through turns, what seems to be turn number 7 and 8. And in fact, he has retired on track as Sufyan. You're not allowed to do that, so you'll get a penalty for that. Why he's retired on track, I don't know, because if you retire on track, of course, you could bring the safety car out. I don't think it has this time, but no, if you retire on track...
it might do, because where it's parked.
Oh, I hope it doesn't. That'll be awful. It'll be an awful situation. Shadow has gone very wide coming out of 15 and 16. Sufyan should not be retiring on track. He'll get a penalty for that. Shadow will be coming through very wide through the corner there. Here's another opportunity though. Potentially, Paul Davey is out of the race. He was on for a good race there in the 3rd sector, and he's crashed out of turn number 12 into 13, and we're under virtual safety car now. Because of where the car is parked, so we're now under virtual safety car position. That could bring Richie Evans and Mike David into the pits here under the virtual safety car, because they're on hard tyres here. And it's 11-lap old hard tyres for Mike as well. I think they're old hard tyres. But he comes across the line and he's not pitting. But yeah, we're under virtual safety car conditions here. Paul Davey was on for a really good points haul here, and now he DNFs out of this race. And at this moment in time, George has come into the pits. He's elected to come into the pits, and it is now soft tyres again and a new front wing again. And it's cost Williams best part of £2 million worth of front wing damage, you suspect here now, as Strategic Herpes is just getting past George as he leaves the pits, and George is now at the back of the grid, but on soft tyres to the end of this race. Lap number 26 of 33. And we're getting ready to go green, I suspect. The cars now getting themselves ready to go racing again. Under virtual safety car conditions, with Paul Davies' car now off the track at the end of turn 12. Herpes with now 13 seconds worth of penalties now in that racing point. And we go green again here at the Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya in the Spanish Grand Prix for this Division 2 race. Synergy PWR People's World Racing. Mike David straight away managing to make an impact and getting past Richie Evans. In fact, Richie Evans making a mistake, in fact, and he puts himself down to P10, the last point on the grid, and I think he's got major front wing damage as well because he's understeering massively is that Haas. But as it stands at the moment, Shadow on for another win. In fact, it'll be a second win of the season. And it'll be 5 podiums in the row for this racing point as well. What a race from him.
Is it just me, or is Purple slowly gaining on Shadow?
He is a little bit. I'm not sure whether it's due to front wing damage or whether he's just not managed to warm up his tyres. And just taking a look, he's not got any structural damage to his front wing as far as the eye can see. But yeah, you are right. Purple was gaining just a little bit on Shadow, but I suspect that will start to not happen, shall we say, because I think Shadow is starting to gain the pace here as Richie Evans gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Really unfortunate. But as it stands, though, SF1 Tom still in DRS territory of Purple Haze, though. And if he comes through here, we're now entering the DRS here. And Sean is gaining on Tom. You're absolutely right, but so is Infamous. I think he's losing on Sean, but gaining on Tom is Infamous. Sector 1's yellow flags waved, and that is for Strategic Herpes again. Made a mistake, has the number 24 racing point, and he's got away without any damage, though. Don't know if he's had a little bit of a coming together with George, because they were fairly close at the time of the incident. Well, sure there'll be a clip in for the stewards to take a look. 6 laps to go. 5 laps as they comes across the finishing line. It's certainly a very interesting battle for the win. As it stands, Shadow is 2.9 seconds and 3 seconds and gaining on Purple Haze, and SF1 Tom has gained buckets of time, and under that virtual safety car would have been able to gain plenty of ERS as well on the Ferrari. The question, on the Mercedes rather, the question is, will the Red Bull of SF1 Jones be able to get himself on the podium here? It's certainly possible, and with Resolutionary down the order in P10 as well, it's a really, really good win. And you are absolutely right, yeah, the situation of penalties is also something to consider as well. It's really, really
I'm not sure about
though,
Infamous, but at this rate it looks like it shouldn't be a problem for Sean and Tom.
Yeah, you'd suspect that it's going to be incredibly close and continue to be close as this develops. But as it stands at the moment, PWR Shadow will be taking another 25 points. That'll take his tally from 81 to 106. And I can't recall who's got fastest lap. I think fastest lap is Resolutionary, so she will get points as she is in P10 at the moment. And SF1 Sean's is currently maintaining the gap of 1.1 to Tom. Tom really close to Purple Haze as it stands at the moment. Sean's, though, as it stands, currently getting 12 points. He'll go up to 50 points, which means he'll be tied with Vicolas. But on the virtue of the fact that Vicolas has got points, the wins rather, he will stay in second place, and Sean's will take third and move HB Suppressor down to fourth. So it's certainly an interesting situation developing at the moment. And
another thing to point out between the battle of like 4 and almost second as well, Sean's doesn't have DRS on Tom, whereas Tom has DRS on Purple, which is potentially saving him from Sean's.
Not like a little bit of a pad failure then, and the battery's dying out.
So I tried to keep the comms.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. I didn't receive a notification saying that the batteries were
failed
dying,
us,
so it's a bit
James.
odd. I failed, I'll just leave. Situation report, though, as it stands with 4 laps to go. Sean's now within DRS territory of Tom, but Tom is still within DRS territory of Purple Haze and is not gaining at the moment. And as it stands as well, if I remember so correctly as well, Purple Haze hasn't got a penalty at the moment, so she's going to be holding on to P2 as it stands on merit, and she's ill at the moment as well, so she's with a handicap. So this would be a very, very good points haul for Mercedes, because of course with Vicolas out, 18 points is certainly a good win, but she's holding because of her pace isn't really up to the standard. SF1 Tom has lost it, heading through turn 12. and he's put his car
that's
onto the
unfortunate.
grass, and he was on his way there to potentially a podium, and he's just lost it, given Hamster P5, and he's losing it here. KJ's left over. He's on 19 lap old mediums, and I don't think he's pitting, and we're under a virtual safety car again. I think that's as a result of what's happened with strategic herpes DNFing, and he's DNF'd what seems
Mike
to be
might be
at
able to
turn
pit.
5, and Mike might be in a position to pit here. Tio Vespa has decided to pit, that's for sure. Soft tyres could be going on for this racing point here. Oh,
Careful.
Purple Haze is out under the virtual safety car, and she's lost it at turn 2, so Sean's is now going to be getting second place. Infamous is on the podium, Hamster's up to P4,
Yeah, Mike's in the pits.
and he's on medium tyres. Mike is in the pits. SF1 Tom now back up to P5 after making that mistake. What a shame, because Purple Haze was on for a really good victory there of P2. As we go green again, I think. Yeah, we're going green again now in this race at,
Mike's still in the
Spain.
pits. He's going to get overtaken.
And Mike
by
is still in the
even
pits on soft
Ghost.
tyres. No,
Oh.
that's awful. So now he's down to P11, and
He's
down
not
to
too far
P12, in
behind.
fact.
He
He's
might
not
be able
too
to
far
claw it back.
behind. We might be able to claw it back, so he's coming to the pits. He's just coming to the pits, I think, just at the wrong time, because now he's lost out on all those positions. He's up to P11 though. Infamous now up to P3.
We'll definitely
Hamster
get P10.
could be on for podium here. He's on 10 lap mediums versus 12 lap hards. We saw the
That is
mediums were
true.
starting to wear thin. The mediums were starting to wear thin in about 10 or 11 laps, but he's been under virtual safety car conditions twice, and I think under a safety car as well, if I'm not mistaken. So he could be
for
on
about
a
1 or
lot
2 laps
better.
maybe.
So he could be on better quality tyres actually than we may think here. 2.2 seconds, 2 seconds, and losing at the moment is Infamous. Sean's though, straight up to P2 again. He ended up losing it, went straight to the back after that collision with Mongdog, and he's back up on the podium.
I'd say it's driver of the day in my opinion.
What a drive. And I think we need to make a note as well. What a drive as well, not just from Sean's, but from KJ's leftover as well. P19 to P6. He's on 21 lap old mediums. And you've got to remember as well, and I hope to God this doesn't happen to him, 70% or
Puncture
higher
territory.
is puncture
Yeah.
territory for tyres under simulation damage. He's surely got to be in that territory now.
His tyres on most they don't look too bad. I mean, they're fading a little bit towards the inside, but
But
otherwise,
I'm not seeing. I'm not
look
seeing
fine.
much blistering. Yeah, I'm not seeing much
Yeah.
blistering at the moment. So he's looking after the tyres quite well, and he has got a gap of 11 seconds to Vespa, but he is on fresh softs, his Vespa, so he's going to munch through that gap
that's
very
a good
quickly.
point.
Gap is
Mike David in
1.6
P10 as
seconds
well
to
now, so he's
Hamster.
taking
Mike
Mike
David on P10, and he's fast round here. He's already proved he's fast round here as Mike David as well, so he could be up to
There's 2 people in front
potentially
of
a
him
good,
battling.
good position here, and he's got actually George is actually getting really close at the moment with Resolutionary. Not the best race for Resolutionary here tonight. 8th place for her on those old medium tyres. George on fresh softs. He's looking very racy against Resolutionary at the moment here, and could be an
Mike's
overtake
just
potentially happening into turn 10 here.
tenths
Oh,
upon
losing all that
tenths.
time. Going through turn 9 is Resolutionary. You can see how old those mediums are in comparison. George surely is going to be able to hold on to the position. He's going to go dive around the outside of turn 10. A little bit of a nudge. And definitely hard racing from Resolutionary. And it allows Mike David through into P9. I think George will be a little bit sort of that was my position, what are you doing? But very hard racing from the Red Bull, trying to hold on for dear life at the moment is the Red Bull, up and still in P8, but Mike David getting very close. You've got to remember Tio Vespa now with the fastest lap of the race as well, so well done to him in the Toro Rosso. But you've got to remember Mike David and Resolutionary already had a coming together at turn number 5 earlier in this race, so this will be redemption as Mike David now gets fastest lap of the race in the Ferrari. DRS open, will he make the move stick? He's going to go around the outside of 1, we'll see, and he's going to go around, he's going to go very deep on the brakes. And she spun the car as well, and I believe that might be because of a little bit of a tap between Mike David and Resolutionary, because that was very, very close actually between the two. And I'm sure Resolutionary will take a recording of it if indeed there was a collision, but Resolutionary now out of the points.
Hamster as well, getting very close to Infamous.
And Infamous has lost it!
Infamous
Oh, Infamous has lost it! Going through turn 12, and that is it. He's out of the race. SF1 Tom up to P4, and Hamster's on the podium in the McLaren. Out of nowhere, Kid just left over up to P6. No virtual safety car has been called. No safety car has been called here. We're on the final lap of this race here. So as it stands at the moment, Hamster is on the podium. Tio Vespa up to P6, Mike David up to P7, and George up to P8. Resolutionary now back in the points, and Richie Evans up to P11 when Infamous obviously gets throughout this track and everyone overtakes him.
And Shadow on the final lap. I'm gonna have to be honest. I think I'm cursed. Every time I've looked at like someone everyone that's crashed out, it's been the second I've looked at them.
I think that
the
Infamous was feeling the pressure. Infamous 100% was feeling the pressure of Hamster, and at that point, Hamster is on the podium for P3, and as it stands at the moment,
Shadow
as well,
goes
it's
the final sector now.
And you know what? The great situation is at the moment is that it's still incredibly close because Sean will be on 56, Hamster will be on 53. That pushes Vickers out of the promotion spots as a result of this victory.
Yeah. Shadow as well coming around the final corners, but
Final corner,
I need to stop looking
turn
at
16
people,
rather,
apparently.
for PWR Shadow as he comes across the line, and he takes victory here for the second time in a row at the Spanish Grand Prix. Congratulations to him and Racing Point. And Sean's, what a race from him, all the way from the back of the grid after a crash. He lost his front wing with Mogdog. He finishes in P2. And PWR Hamster, a very, very well-liked person at Synergy PWR, comes across and takes his first podium, I believe, actually, for Synergy PWR People's World Racing. Congratulations to him. SF1 Tom follows in P4. Not a bad race from him, actually, and a good race from him. Well, what a race from this driver in the Haas. He's on 23 lap-old mediums from P19 on the grid. KGS leftover finishes in P5. What a race from the Haas. TEO Vespa follows in P6. And Mike David, I think he'll be relatively okay, maybe with P7. I think he could have done better, but it's not a bad. It's not a bad race from P14 for Mike David. George finishes in P8 with Grossly Nebula in P9, and it's not been a very good race, though, from the Red Bull of Resolutionary. She finishes at this race in P10, and Ghostly Nebula just takes George on penalties, actually. So George finishes in P9, Resolutionary in P10, and then it will be Richie Evans a little bit further down. He has finished the race, though, Richie Evans, and that's one thing you've got to remember. The driver may not be up there with the rest of the field, but at the end of the day, he finished, and another 9 drivers didn't, and as a result, he will finish this race, and the rest of them don't. He finishes in P11.
John, I'm going to have to check your maths. That was 8, not 9.
Oh, I don't know. It's just many things were happening. Many things were happening, and I couldn't pay attention to everything at one time. But what a race, actually, from the runners and in runners and riders. And in the end, PWR Shadow takes 25 points and the race victory, and takes him up to 106 points. And it's been consistent form from PWR Shadow taking the victory. What a race from SF1 Sean, though, P2. And the fact that he started there but ended up being nudged off by Mongdog at the start of this race, he finishes on the podium with Hamster, a very, very well-liked driver, finishing on the podium in P3. So we will take a look at the final results of this race. Hopefully the race director will be able to stick in all the results of the race as they appear. And we will be finishing this race with PWR Shadow winning the race. A 49-minute race in the end with 2 safety cars and a virtual safety car. The Racing Point takes the win with SF1 Sean's in P2 and Hamster in P3. SF1 Tom in P4 with KJS leftover from P19 on the grid. Finishes in P5. He's certainly going to be one of my drivers of the day to consider alongside SF1 Sean's. TEO Vespa P6 for him from P11 on the grid. Actually a very good performance from the Toro Rosso with Mike David. I think he'll be happy with P7 in the end from P14, though I think he knows he could have done better, but a few incursions leaves him a little bit further down than where he could have been. Ghostly Nebula P8 with George in P9 with those 6 seconds worth of penalties, and Resolutionary in P10 in the end for her. What a poor race, I feel, from the Red Bull racer. Richie Evans in P11, and then the DNFers, Peter Infamous, Purple Haze, Strategic Herpes, and then Paul Davies, Sufjan Vickers, HP Suppressor, and Mongdog before we even got to turn 1. Yes, indeed, very shocking stuff, but very, very good race, and a very good commentary as well from yourself, Sphere Cookie. Thank you very much for popping in.
Ay, caramba, tanda esta la biblioteca.
Words. Appreciate, and of course, brilliant. Appreciate the directing as well from the Meister himself in Silver Surfer. Thank you very much, buddy.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Great commentary as always.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to everyone tuning in to this Synergy PWR race for the Spanish Grand Prix. We're back, of course, same time tomorrow for the Division 1 race. We're expecting some more spicy stuff from the Synergy PWR drivers, but for myself and the rest of the team, it's goodbye for now.
Bye!